Welcome. You're listening to How We Healed podcast. I'm Kir Noel, medical intuitive, your host. Our sponsor is themedicinebuddhawithin.com, intuitive training for all. Check out their website and sign up to be invited to upcoming events. Now let's begin our show. So I'm here today. I want to welcome my guest, Leah Haas, who is, I would call her someone who creates space that brings this feeling of home. She runs, designed, created this beauty called the Garden Cafe in Woodstock, New York, which I feel the need to go to every single week because I feel seen when I go there. I feel nurtured by the gorgeous vegan menu that brings zero drama, and I feel seen. It's a feeling that I have never had in another restaurant in my life, and I love food, so I eat in a lot of restaurants. There's just something that's so authentically you there that in the moment of just openness, without any precognition, I had a feeling I wanted you to be on the podcast. And you said yes, which is miraculous, I hear.
It really is.
So I just want to welcome you and thank you for being here today and invite you to share how you've healed your life and how that's evolving for you.
Thank you. What an introduction. That makes me feel so good that you feel that way. That was my full intention when creating that space. I wanted to have a feeling when you walk in to feel safe and seen and nourished. And bravo. I feel good about that.
I think you did it.
Amazing. And I feel that way. When I go in, I'm really happy. I'm happy to be there. I'm happy to serve. And very blessed with the community that supported me and the staff that I have. And the journey there has definitely healed me. And I always say the opportunity to open that business, I got an angel investor, I kind of say saved my life. And that was a huge healing journey on so many levels. We touched on like leaving an abusive relationship and having a community to support and help me through that. There's a connection to everything from the food that I serve that's kind, getting to meet people and engage, and because I could be a hermit. So having a restaurant where I get to meet people and build relationships, even if it's that short moment of somebody just passing through, just kind of creates a spark and makes me feel alive. So every day is a healing journey for me, for sure. You know, just getting to even have a bad interaction with somebody is always a good thing for me, because why did I feel that way? Why did I feel attacked? Why did I feel misjudged? And then it gives me a pause to be like, why do I feel that way? So it's kind of just always being like every day meeting people and having this amazing opportunity to.
Yeah, and it's a lot of work. I
know it's a lot of work, but it's what I want to do, and I've always done. My parents had a restaurant. So I've been in it since I'm 15 years old.
What kind of a restaurant did they have?
So ironically, it was called the Garden of Eating in Bayside, Queens. And then 30 years later. I know, right? And it was kind of similar because it's all fresh food, family run. And it was kind of on that edge of healthy, even though there was meat served. The butcher came and the fish man came, and we picked what we were having each night, and it was a great experience to see my parents work together and also create the same experience because they were all regulars, and the community there and relationships were built in that space. But it was always hard. Restaurants are hard.
Yeah, I think anyone who eats in one can notice that.
Yes, yeah.
Unless you're asleep or watching your phone too much.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a little earlier about your daughter.
Yes.
And her, in some way coming into your being in your life and starting you to shift into kind of high gear and healing. because you
Yes.
couldn't stay in something that was harming you.
Exactly.
And I relate to that, and how significant that was. And now this is your 10th year, right?
It's my 10th year there.
Which is so
Absolutely.
magical. I didn't realize it was already 10 years I've been eating your delicious food until I saw your beautiful balloons, 10 in gold.
Everywhere. Yes, true. And my best friend Kristen did that. I was like, I'm not big on big celebrations, but they're like, no, this is a big one. We're doing that.
Yeah, it's amazing. 10 years of that beautiful place that you've grown. It's grown so much since you've had it, too.
It really has the expansion and just the garden, and it's wonderful. But true. I never want to put this on her, but she kind of saved my life, having her in my life, because I never realized I could love that way. And giving yourself to someone in an unconditional way, as we were talking about that love. And then her confiding in some of my staff about the relationship I was having at home, and that community coming in and helping me heal through a relationship that was, emotionally and mentally abusive, and kind of holding me back on the potential of discovering who I was. And I've always had, a very God-centered life, and never really felt like a victim, but I thought it was my journey, maybe playing a martyr. Not sure, I wasn't sure why I thought I had to stay with it. I just thought it would be a failure if I couldn't fix this marriage.
Oh, I relate to that. Yeah, it was your job, kind of.
It was my job. And
to take care of someone and make sure they evolved and became better people.
Exactly.
Yeah, I so relate to that. Yeah.
And I just didn't want my daughter to go in a relationship like that.
Well, that's what, I've never shared about this before, but I had a marriage to a person, a man at that time. He's still a man. 9 years, and he was this great teacher who devastated me, who left me all the time, who I had children with, and then and was a big spark in my life to change, to make a decision I was terrified to make. So I'm going to share a brief story. I lived in Brooklyn, New York. I went to Red Hook Park, which at the time was kind of a drug area. One morning at sunrise, because I couldn't sleep anymore, because this was my nightmare. And I had 2 little kids, and I told myself, your daughter will marry someone like him, and your son will become him unless you leave. And that's how I left.
That is a nightmare.
I said, I don't care how terrified I am in this moment. It's about them. Let it go. And so that was it. I went home. Goodbye. That was it. It was done. It was
That's
out.
amazing. Congratulations.
Well, and it was sort of, this very spiritual experience of, I'm gonna tell the truth to myself. I'm not okay. This isn't working. I'm in pain, and I have no family at this point. They were all gone. And my family was my spiritual connection. You call it God, I call it higher power, or the universal love that exists for all of us.
And that's no separation. That's all the same.
We're all connected. And when I reached out for an answer that day, that morning, it came, and it shocked my life. It shocked my life. But I've never regretted it. I've never regretted trusting that information.
Bravo.
And I've had many moments. I rarely have to be in that dire straits anymore to have the moment. But, we have this beautiful reservoir near us. And, if I'm really struggling, I'll go there and I'll just wait and listen. It could take a long time to get an answer, but I'm open to it now.
I love that.
It's transformative.
Yeah, sometimes you have to be in fear or shame or anger to really make that move that's going to lead you to that amazing healing and courage. And
you went through that when you just told me earlier that you got the restaurant and you were still dealing with somebody who wanted to destroy you. Who
Absolutely.
couldn't see themselves as valuable, so they didn't see your value.
Exactly.
And it's to find your way, in that is extraordinary. It really is.
Yes, and it's all, again, with my body, my mind, my spirits, it's all connected. And one thread just kind of loops around where it heals all parts of you. And that's really nice, getting the community to help me and see the truth and not hiding behind the shame. And then once you tell that truth, when you stop lying to yourself, that just rips open your heart. and that little drop starts blooming, and that's part of the healing journey. I've healed through physical illnesses and abusive relationship, and just I've been very, very lucky that I haven't had to heal spiritually. I just feel like my spirit has healed those parts of me by trusting and trusting that my path, like I belong here, that my life is important, that the people I meet, it's important, that I never, if it's Drew and yourself, like I just meant to know you for even that moment, that I'm going to be enriched by that. So everything's connected. I'm like, ooh, there's an eagle to my left and a flower to the right. What does it mean?
And even, my training, my spiritual path training, because the family I grew up in had no religion, landed me up becoming a Jew, because my father was Jewish. I never met him. Doing the whole mikvah, changing my name, learning Hebrew. Both kids went to bar and bat mitzvah class. But then what has always drawn me is Buddhism. So I have a spiritual teacher for years, and she and I connected 35 years ago. And so I'm very involved in the monastery, and I get wonderful opportunities up there to continue my healing and always connect to something greater than myself. This vastness of all of us just being present and witnessing each other, the witnessing you do. So when I go to your restaurant, I feel that thing you just talked about. I feel there's kind of like, you're like a little magnet.
Aw.
It's a softness, though. That magnet that I find in the rhetoric out in the world today is a deterrent for my involvement. It destroys my safety. It destroys my feelings of peace. However you land and what political party, I don't think it's not affecting everyone. I think it's affecting everyone.
Yes.
And when I go see you or meet you, I just see that softness in myself too. I can see it in you. I can see it in the way you joyously bring a plate or smile at a friend, because everyone in that restaurant is your friend.
Yes.
And I feel like I'm with friends too when I'm there. And it's just this, and I hate, the word family got so distorted for me by my family that I think friends are so important. I think my friends are, and I hear people say, my friends are my family. I'm like, no, I'm glad they're not.
Yes, exactly.
My friends are people that care about me and don't want to tell me who to be. And so when you cook and you make this beautiful food, I mean, how did you come up with all that? Did you go to school for it?
I didn't. I've been living in this cottage for 8 years. I've turned on my oven for twice. So I'm not really a cook. I'm at home. I'll just eat, blueberries and coconut yogurt and granola and be happy. But I love the idea of the art of cooking. And I love going out like yourself to restaurants and experiencing people's ideas and the combinations of food. It's a really beautiful way to connect. Because my parents were in the restaurant business, we never sat at a table. We're always so busy. It's a 24-hour business. And so when I get to see somebody excited about a plate that's out there and it's nourishing them and fulfilling them, and they get that moment of just being decompressing to the world, it makes me really happy. I just like that. And working in the kitchen and I'm amazed how so much food is produced each day, and my crew just really showing up. We talked about Pam Brown owning the restaurant prior, and she had a different way of running the business and kind of a different menu, but the foundation was there waiting for me. So I was able to build what she started and making it my own, and remembering what I liked prior to being vegan, and trying to, I watch cooking shows and they're usually not vegan. I'm like, oh, I want to make that roast because I remember my mother making that, or and just figuring it out.
Make it vegan.
Make it vegan.
Yeah, and
delicious. And if anybody says, oh, it's good for vegan, it's off the menu, because it should be, anybody who walks in there should enjoy a meal. It's just, it has to be good food. You have to feel good when you're eating it and enjoying it and feeling like you've got a really good deal, like a good, proper meal, Like I think I'm a Jewish mama.
I'm
like, eat.
Well, I've brought a lot of meat eaters there, and at first there's a reaction. Well, what is that? Tempeh,
Yes.
tofu, quinoa in the salad. I'm like, try it.
Try it.
And the
Exactly.
sauces you make and the flavors and the spicing and the compliments of food, and it's just so good, and it doesn't upset yours. I've never had an upset stomach. Never.
The trick is good oils. If you can't afford anything else that's organic, get good organic
I read on your
oil.
post, that
is the most important.
Really?
Great olive oil, great coconut oil, any oil that you want to use, put your money there.
Interesting.
And then pray over everything else if you can't afford it. But it does make a difference with your gut. It really does.
Yeah.
And I also believe in the energy of people touching your food. I know the people who are working for me are good, salt of the earth people, and their intentions are good. You could have two chefs making the same thing and one's in a bad mood. I could feel it. I've gone in where I'm feeling distracted and I'm baking. Sometimes I walk away because I'm just not fully in it, and I don't want to transfer that energy to anybody else. I might be distracted because I'm upset about, food not showing up or somebody insulting me or feeling bad about myself. I walk away. It's too important that people come there spending their hard-earned money and wanting a great experience, and if it doesn't reflect in what I'm making that day, I'd rather it not be on the menu. So that's super important to me.
That's a lot of integrity about the way you bring food to people, the way you bring that experience to me.
I've struggled financially for so long, and then when I would get to go out, it was really special. So even if I have a guest that comes once a year because they celebrate their birthday all the time, or they come in 3 or 4 times a week, which I do get to people, it's important that each time they feel like they're getting something really delicious and that they're like, excited that they had a beautiful meal.
And I guarantee you I feel that way when I eat.
Yeah,
I always look forward to that evening. I go there right before I go to the monastery and do this 1-hour training on Thursday night. And that's one of my favorite things, favorite place to go and just be there.
Well, thank you.
It's so perfect, especially before meditation. It's absolutely perfect. Balance.
And then, the quality we're giving, talk about healing. I really believe, food is so nourishing, and the way you absorb your food and how you feel while you're eating, all of that contributes to beautiful health. And, just trying to offer the best quality, local or organic, it's very important to me.
So
it's handled, we have a great filtration, even the way we soak our vegetables and cleaning it. We're kosher, so we have a separate
I didn't
sink.
know that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of integrity behind it, as you said. Trying our best.
I didn't know it was kosher. Wow. That's the Jew in me. I loved it.
See?
I do love it.
My father, Irving Farfstein, I always feel like he's proud of me.
He's part of it.
Yes, exactly.
So this isn't the Garden Cafe show.
Oh, yes, I'm so sorry. Yes.
Although we both love what you do and love your food and love the people that come because of it. But there's something, this energy that you bring. When we talked about it downstairs, we were down in Yum Yum, we talked about kind of the trauma that gets us to move and motivates us to start new. And when you share about your life, I felt the trauma that you had doesn't inform who you are now.
No.
That you've actually moved forward completely devoid of the trauma piece, and that you've made peace with that and found an essential part of you that was missing. It was like the missing ingredient to the perfect recipe.
Yes.
And when you moved out of that situation, you reclaimed her. You reclaimed all of Leah. Do you want to talk about how that felt?
Absolutely, because I feel like growing up, I had a lot of disabilities, very dyslexic, a lot of learning disabilities, feeling bullied, not having a lot of friends. I was a loner, feeling my parents were busy at the time, had a little substance abuse problems there. So I kind of really felt alone. And I think this is why I probably got into this relationship with this gentleman at a a young age.
How old were you?
I met him at 15, went into a relationship at 17. He's 20 years older than me, and classically put me on a pedestal right away, and I felt really seen and supported. And I am mostly attracted to somebody's intelligence. He's really, really smart. He's incredibly talented. He's a musician. He's a beautiful writer. There's rose petals and poetry. He got me. He got me hard. And I will do anything for anyone that I love. And I loved him. And I was willing to look past a lot of things that were quite obvious to everyone around me. And I was willing to abandon everyone in my life to make sure that he was my number one. And he made sure that he was number one. That included not having any friends, not allowed to make phone calls, being timed. When I went to work, I was the sole provider for the family. And I thought it was okay.
We have this in common.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I thought it was normal because, our love is enough. Why do I need anyone else but him? But it was very interesting how I teased my daughter. I was like, we were both groomed by the same man because I was so young too. And I think as I got older and kind of wanted to discover myself and now had this child, he didn't like who I was becoming because I wasn't who he created, somebody who only had eyes for him. And it was, I was telling you, I was really, really scared. I thought if I ever tried to leave, that he would harm my daughter or myself. And there was one day that I was working at Sunfrost, and the night before I was sleeping in our van because it was too crazy in the household. And somebody asked me, how was your night? And first time ever, I said, it was terrible because every day I showed up with a smile and my life was perfect. But it was the first time that I told the truth and said, I slept in my van and it had a terrible night and my life is terrible. And by telling the truth to somebody, it allowed me to start making the change. And that's when I started to meet with somebody to help me get out of this relationship. And it took, over a year to figure out how to do it safely. But sometimes you just have to tell the truth.
Well, the truth is incredibly powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I was like, nobody could know about what was going on.
You told someone who was safe to tell.
He was actually, I barely knew the person. I just had to say the words. I had to hear myself say it out loud.
That's it. You became your own mirror. You had to hear it.
Yeah, and I was like, whoa, that wasn't too hard. And now I said it, and now it's real. The abuse is real. My circumstances are terrible. And now what am I going to do about it? And it took time because it was gradual. And how was I going to do it? I'm a sole provider of this man and myself and my daughter. And I don't have the finances. I don't have family. I don't have friends because that's how it was designed. So I wouldn't have anywhere to go till I had an opportunity to get my own place. So now God made all these things. Now I'm out of being up in Olivria in the middle of nowhere with no neighbors, with just this man. And now I have a Woodstock community. I have a restaurant. I'm starting to build finances. And it just kind of...
It came to. Well, you stopped... I guess we stopped allowing someone else to suppress who we are. Mm-hmm. And when my change came, that was one of many, but that was the most dramatic and traumatic. People were there to support it. People came to my life that I hadn't had in my life before. Not at all enabling me, but just to say, yeah, we see you, and we've been thinking this might be a good idea for you for a long time.
Very parallel. Like people I didn't understand why you were with him. We were so concerned for you all the time. We saw it, but I was so protective of it. I was like, I don't want anybody to think poorly of him or myself or, embarrassed that I've put myself in this situation.
It is embarrassing, but it's okay to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
especially when you're struggling. It's
And it
important.
wasn't easy. The first 6 months, I was like, did I do the wrong thing? Because he took so much room in my mind that I thought like him. I acted like him in so many ways. I had the same views because I couldn't even buy furniture for myself because I always had to ask permission. Because if he said no, it was no. So now I could say yes. And I was like, what does that mean? I don't even know what I like. It was really interesting. I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I could do this.
Mm.
And
well, he was the rotten oil in the frying pan.
Yes.
The sheep oil.
Oh, boy.
We have nothing but I wish all my my benefactors, those who have did put their own negativity into my life. I'm so grateful because the growth that's happened in my life has come out of those struggles, those tragedies, those sometimes the losses. The losses we have are the ones that define how we become who we are and open our hearts. I want to read something from your page on the internet. We still have an internet.
Yes.
It's your quote: "Our food, our staff, our community is love." Yes, it is. And would I or you have found that peace, that loving community, without stepping out of patterns and behaviors that kind of kept me in my little cave and my own self? Whenever I look back on something, the immediate looking back is, oh, well, they did that. They did this. And then, a week or so into it, I'm like, no, what did you do, Kir? Who are you in that? And then when I really own that, I get so much clarity and appreciation. And I understand that it was me who kept me from being me, that there's something, unfortunately, common about that, especially in women's lives. So how is it raising a daughter?
It's amazing.
In the Woodstock community.
It's, well, I would take that back. I think it's hard I think being in the Catskills with a young child is magical. It's like fairyland. You have all this fresh air and, little naked running around and swimming in the creeks. I think it's a little limiting as they get older. As a teenage, I think it's not enough for teenagers. I could beat myself up thinking I parented wrong and I wish I got her into horseback riding or music or anything. But I find it a little limiting for her. But she is very motivated and she keeps herself very structured and she takes care of that part. I think I lean on guilt because of having her in our family structure that I kind of the pendulum swung where I was a little loosey-goosey. And she, met not such great people for a short amount of time, but she came right back. She came right back. And I think the foundation of love, as we talk about, kept her safe. But it's easy. I think Woodstock can be a little difficult. Keep your kids busy and keep
advice.
them hold.
Yes.
Keep a good eye on them.
That's good.
Sure.
That's good advice. I have 2 children I raised in Woodstock. And you described it's the hangout places across the street from you where people have fun and do recreational things.
Yes.
And I know my son goes there, and he's 31, but those are good people.
Yes.
They're good people, but they're not my people.
Yes, exactly.
So not everything's good, though. I don't believe that at all. So your journey now, you own this beautiful, I think you've given birth to this beautiful place. It's another form of creation. And now, do you see yourself doing new adventures or growing further in that area?
I would love to keep on feeding the restaurant. I really can't imagine Garden Cafe not being there. It's so important to me, and I think it is important to the community. I did put my wish list for a longer lease, so we'll, fingers crossed, say a prayer. But there's all timing. I could see myself, my second half of my life, retiring, with cats and water and swimming. But I still have good years ahead of me being there.
I'm glad to hear that.
for sure. But, I believe in timing. Everything happened to me as a child, in my marriage, the perfect timing of the restaurants, divine timing for sure. Even, I don't really regret any of those things. Would I have changed some of them? Yep. But everything happens, like you said. We have the parents we have. We make the choices, but that's all part of the growth, the healing, the development, and just kind of seeing where we are. This life is amazing, even through the hard times. Our soul wants that experience. It wants to feel the good and the hardships and the pleasures. We want it all. We're not one-dimensional. We got to have all the feelings because then we could appreciate it. When I have a terrible migraine, when I feel better, I'm like, ooh, this feels good. Health feels really good. Sometimes you have to.
Yeah, we need to appreciate. I think it brings us to that place of gratitude that was sort of a non-word in my vocabulary growing up. That is a constant in my life. Even when things are hard, it's like, okay, I'm grateful in this moment. It's happening. I'm sure there's learning for me to have. I'm going to develop some new skills.
Yes.
This sounds positive, but I'm in pain right now. But I can also say there's a lot going on around this, not just pain.
Yes. Gratitude is really one of my main prayer modes, being grateful for everything that comes my way. And when I'm feeling a little, edgy or spicy, I just stop and, stop, breathe, pray. Like just pause for seconds. And why am I reacting that way? Because it's usually, it's two ways. What is it bringing up for me? I don't pass up any opportunity to be a little better, because it's not always easy, but it's important to me. It's really important to me to be the best self, be kind and not leave a trail of chaos behind me.
Right. So
I don't not be responsible for that at all.
Well, that integrity of personal responsibility that, it comes with the adult sensibility, whatever that, like we talked about, we met downstairs and I was sure you were about 15 years younger than I am.
Oh, you're so cute.
And we are very much
yes,
equal
and you're
in
looking
age,
good, darling.
And I said, we look so good.
We do.
And I was like, and we've had similar life experiences and magical, wonderful things happen out of those hard times.
Yes.
And I what I do now, I wake up every day and I know the world's on fire, okay? And it's my daughter lived in LA. There was a fire out in her neighborhood. They had to evacuate. So we're all experiencing that tension. And then I think what prompted me to be here today and do this podcast is to turn up the volume on the good things that we have, to lower it almost like looking at it like we're on a seesaw. And if we're on the seesaw up and down, do we ever have balance? Do we ever know who we are, what we're doing? Can we really contribute? Can I contribute in panic? Can I contribute in ecstasy from drugs? I doubt it. I may be more fun if I'm high, but I haven't had that in a while. But there's not much going to be enriching that I'm bringing to life. And, just from the get-go, your restaurant, the way you present, the way you carry yourself, the way you look at people, the way you engage, everyone gets enriched. There's enrichment, it's this beautiful, generous enrichment.
Thank you.
Which is like water flowing, which is like, we have gentle water in our lives. Your food, I looked on Instagram. I looked at the food on Instagram for the Garden Cafe. If you haven't, please, follow it. Is that the right word?
Yeah,
follow.
I think so.
The food, I was looking at my little phone. The screen is larger every day, but I'm looking at the phone and I notice a drink I like, and I took a photo of the drink to bring to the next time I come to the restaurant to try. Because everything looks beautiful, and I know it's not well designed. You didn't hire a photographer.
No.
You just took a photo of what you actually are serving, and nothing has been sitting in a container for 2 days and got a little gray around the edges and nothing has died to get you your food. It's just so perfect. That's a balance in the world I'd like to see. That sense of it's okay being who you are. You're enough. That we are enough. And I we shared parenting ideas, and I'm like you. I fall in the line under the bus line. I'm like the adult child needs, I have adult children, needs to have my attention. I can just drop everything else in life, which drives people around me a little crazy, including my partner. It's like, you're in a panic mode. I'm like, no, this is parenting.
No, this is full parenting.
This is
seriously.
Yeah. The job is not, looking at the child doing an event. Yay. Well, that's been lovely. I enjoyed it. But the job is you are the mirror. You are the main mirror, especially with a daughter. And I know with my son as well. We are the mirror.
Yes.
And if we don't say you are valuable, you're valuable to me, who's going to give them that foundation? And so we're just there doing that, and you do it in the restaurant.
That's important to me. I always tell my staff when somebody is a little maybe rude or aggressive, just give them a chance. Just give them a moment, because 90% of the time, by the end of the meal, they're going to thank you. They're going to thank you for being patient. We have no idea what somebody's going through. We don't know if they got bad news about their health or lost their job or their dog is sick. And does it give them permission to kind of be abrupt? No, but I promise you, 9 out of 10 times they're going to be like, thank you for being patient. Thank you for being kind. You made this day better for me. And I've heard it, I've been in this industry 40 years. And such a minute amount of people who are just mean. They're not. I haven't met many mean people. It's usually because they're going through something. And you've made that difference in their life because you just kind of held space for them for that moment. You gave them a little time to kind of like decompress, sit down, think about their moment, eat something really well, and somebody giving them a smile and a little patience and a little kindness can change their life. It could actually save their life. You have no idea what somebody's going through. It doesn't have to be about you. You don't have to be on the defensive all the time. And it makes you feel so good, and you just really help somebody by just, like you said, you feel seen, you feel nourished. And I'm really lucky to have a platform where I get to meet people from all over the world who come in and just want a great experience, not just a good meal, good experience. I've gone to many restaurants where it doesn't feel good, and I won't go back. The food could be great, but if I'm not feeling the room or I don't really like the service, most likely I'm not going back. So it does extend of like my values. I want somebody, I just like just walking down the street and smiling at somebody or giving somebody a compliment. It goes a long way.
It does. Yeah, absolutely. Then there's that element of kindness that human nature, we have this capacity to not react and not be in survival mode, but in general, but even in survival mode, we still have the capacity to say, hi, how are you? I think in other parts of the world, as I was talking about, the world's on fire, I think about Ukrainians, I think about, Gaza, Israel, anywhere where terror is happening and where there are bombs being dropped, Iran, and there are children there and families, and they're making food. And they didn't ask for any of that. And why, they can just sit there and be peaceful for a moment, eat their meal, and have kindness.
Yes.
In this somewhat, unfortunately, the view is for now that it's somewhat of an unkind world. But there's a lot of us out there, too.
Exactly.
There's a lot of Leahs, there's a lot of Kirs, there's a lot of Drews. There are a lot of people that they are kind. And their hearts understand, or you understand, if something feels off, there's something wrong in their life. There's something bad going on in their life. It doesn't have to be a huge tragedy. It could just be they can't pay their electric bill.
Oh, yes.
I mean, that's a tragedy. That's
It
very
really is.
traumatic. That's
And
very
it spirals,
stressful.
and it, trickles down, the fear of not being able to, even just losing one day's work that could ruin your whole budget for the whole month. Like, financial struggles are real.
They are, and medical problems and medical bills, and there's so much of that around. There's so much we're all dealing with. So we can bring the food. You bring food that brings healing. I know that. I mean, I'm shocked how much I love it. I'm not a vegan. I'm not a vegan.
Most of our guests, I would say 90% of our guests are meat eaters. They just want good food.
Yeah,
that's what it
good
is.
Good food
it's,
and a good vibe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that vibe thing. It's very powerful. Yeah. So you've built this beautiful place, and it's and now you went from one smaller space, you have expanded to the two parts of the building, and then you made a beautiful garden with incredible. There's like a bar out there that has juices and blended drinks, and it's just, and even in the winter when I go there, you have sparkly things all over all over the room, and I always feel like I'm in a magical place. It's magical even in the winter in Woodstock.
A lot of prayer goes into it. I go in there, I speak to the building. I think it's for foundation and the shelter and inviting people in and feeling good. I'll tell you a quick, very funny story. This girl, Kyla, and I, for some reason, we barely speak, but we read each other's minds. And I would always do a loop around the restaurant, protecting the restaurant, keeping, bringing the right people in. And we are always blessed with, smiling faces and people feeling good and grateful for being there. And then we're looking at one table. I'm not realizing she's looking at the one table. And we looked at each other, and then we looked back at the table, and somebody said, "What are you looking at?" And we're like, "Oh, we're just curious how that person got in here." Because we always feel like we're have a protection. And he said, "Because they need you. Because this person was a little off. It just wasn't like our regular type of customer." It made me feel so good that I don't always have the most perfect person in my restaurant who's divine and connected. They were attracted there because they needed something that we could offer. And I love that. And just last night we had a family from Israel, and they came in and they noticed the mezuzah that one of the guests gifted us and did the prayers. And they're like, "It was so nice to see this here because I felt safe to come in here." And it is sad that we're in a world that somebody has to feel safe to enter a place and not, and if it's, you talked about Gaza or Israel, that everybody should feel safe and not feel threatened. And, it almost broke my heart. I'm like, of course you're safe here, I want anybody to come in. We don't have to agree. We don't have to be, like you said, the same religion or politics. You're human.
Well, and I think we all would deserve to feel whole and to feel to be in a place where the world isn't attacking you for being who you are.
Exactly.
Which I think is, if I say one political view I have, the only single one, we have nobody's above us, nobody's below us. Economic situations do not influence the importance of your being here. The power you have is to be yourself. That's the most powerful thing we have. And how we do that coming here to share. And I'm so glad you spoke in great length about how hard it's been in the past for you, which is such a wonderful, I think it's useful to be honest and tell people what we come from. It helps others. But that we don't have a lot of voice around us where, I go to a store and they go, "Oh, it's you. We just love your light. You're so beautiful. Come in." I don't need you to know my name because my name's just a representation of this exterior person. But for you to know there's a person here, a real person, has something that has a place. I have a place. That's your restaurant. I have a place.
Yes, you do.
It's good. And now we've been here. You won't say,
"It's so
you
good.
don't have a place."
It's so good. I'm so happy.
No, it's a place. And it's the place is so much not the place. To me, this conversation is funny because it's unique. Every time I meet with a person of great beauty, I go, I want to hear who you are. And we didn't have these conversations ever in our lives before. And I've come to your restaurant for almost 10 years, and we have never sat down and talked. And what I hear is, I started to say, this isn't the Garden Cafe show.
But it's such a part. It's such a part. It's like a spirit of me.
Yes, the Garden Cafe isn't the Garden. Yeah, the Garden Cafe is you. Mm-hmm. The Garden Cafe is Leah Haas. Leah Haas is the Garden Cafe. And the location is gorgeous because it's in the center of town, and it's off the green, and everyone can find it, and it's beautiful. The windows, decorations, and the lighting and the food, it's all incredible. But wherever you are that feeling, that beauty you created is in you. Mm-hmm. It's not. So when we met and we're doing this podcast, there's no separation. I just realized as we got through the discussions that, we find ourselves, at the other half of the hour, I'm like, wait, this whole show has been about Leah.
That's so funny. I love that. Yeah.
It's been about Leah, and my own awareness of you now has grown because I feel the generosity in you. There's so much generosity.
How red am I?
that and I welcome, if anyone wants to know how to build something that's beautiful and has value, go to the Garden Cafe. And you'll always see Leah, and whether she's physically there or not, it is Leah. And just sitting there and energetically having the feeling of the space, there's a lot to learn there. Mm-hmm. You're going to learn about simplicity, about elements of design that just let you feel at ease. You're going to learn that soft lighting is good lighting. You're going to learn that old things are beautiful too. And the new devices we need are also okay, with limits. I rarely go to your cafe and see someone sitting on their phone their entire meal.
That's true.
And I find that's very fascinating to me because I will be in, and I won't name the restaurants, but very expensive, local, and the expense isn't the reason that people are on their phone. And there's just this interesting dynamic where 2 or 3 people on a table and it's social, and they're always looking back at their phones and they're not sharing photos. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, so what is that?
I do like the fact that we have a lot of people and single people who come in if it's their lunch break or they just want to get out of their house or they might not have their family with them. They could sit and start a conversation with somebody. I love that there is that human connection there. And if it's with our staff or with the person next to them. And yesterday I was doing payroll and this beautiful family was there and we got to chat and talk about bears and flowers. And it's very alive. It's always, it just feels good. You get to have conversations, which, a lot of people just don't get that anymore because we are so busy and we are on our phones. And if you could keep that alive, talking to someone, I would say I love the service industry since the day I got to, serve and be a waitress. I like the word waitress at my parents' restaurant. It's like short stories. Even if I only have that 7 to 10 or 20 minutes with that person, it's like a little vignette of their life. And I am a nosy body. I ask questions all the time. I want to know about everything and anything. As much as I get out of you, I just love it because it's like it just fills me up. I want to know where you're from and what you're doing and, what do you like? What do you want? So I try to get as much as I can at that moment. And most people want to share. I love it. It's so much fun.
So you love what you do.
I love what I do. And I really do like people. And I like different thought processes and different religions and different views on everything because I want to know more. I want to feel like, oh, I never thought of it that way, or not for me, So that growth, of just expansion, just like I get live books,
Yeah,
at that moment.
They are live books. Mm-hmm. There's history and story. I mean, I think story is so powerful, a healing tool. So we are here to let you know to go to the Garden Cafe.
Yes, visit me.
Visit Leah. Gorgeous, bountiful woman with a big heart. I don't know how to describe your attire. How do you describe your attire if they want to know who is Leah?
Oh my God, I'm always wearing a dress.
Oh, I was going to say.
Always wearing a dress.
Beautiful dresses that bring a more detailed design to the room. Her smile kind of captures a moment of, I see you. I see you. And brings, everything to the community that it needed to bring back some balance.
Well, they've given me a lot, and I'm so happy I'm part of it. I found my home.
Well, thank you. Thank you for making your home in our home, in our world, in our community, in our beautiful, bountiful community. And thank you so much for coming today to share as much as all the beautiful things you've shared so openly.
And it's wonderful officially meeting you, and I get to have a new friend.
Yes, a new friend. That's why I feel that way. I was like, today I'm
really
going to start to make a new friend.
This is great.
It's very exciting.
Oh, I appreciate you. And
Leah.
Thank you for asking, because I usually would say no.
Well,
I'm happy I said yes.
I'm so happy you did too. Thanks, Leah.
Thank you. Many
Thank
blessings.
You too. Bye. We want to thank the following people. Jennifer Maidman for original music. Listen to her on iTunes and Spotify. True English of Upstate Podcast Studio for sound and recording engineering. And all our executive producers. See you next time.